सर
we
अभी
were at
वो
the
अभी ज्वाइन करेंगे वो लोग सर।
we were at the simple manometers in the previous class. So now we will have differential manometer, that is YouTube differential manometer, as shown in the figure. You can see the figure in the slide also. So this is the figure of YouTube manometer. You can see the both the points are where the pressure difference is to be measured. That is, we are having one liquid at point A and second liquid at point B in the beaker, and you can see both the points are lying at the same level, same height from the datum head or the reference point, that is point A and B are at the same level. So as soon as we have installed that or we have sampled that YouTube differential manometer to the 2 points, you can see the manometer is being filled with a heavier liquid. Heavier means it is having the more specific gravity as compared to the two liquids which are being used at point A and B. So as soon as you can see these two liquids are being joined with the YouTube manometers, you can see, let us say the liquid at point A is water and the liquid at point B is oil, and specific gravity of the reference liquid, that is mercury. In our case we have used mercury here, so that as soon as you have connected that YouTube manometer with these 2 points, you can see the liquid 1 and liquid 2 both start entering into the YouTube differential manometer. As soon as the water will enter into from point A to the left limb of the YouTube manometer and oil from the right limb of the manometer, both will exert pressure on the heavier liquid. But you can see that on the left limb the liquid falls more as compared, and whereas in the case of the right limb the liquid rises. So let us say the head which is rises of the heavier liquid, mercury in our case, from the reference head or the reference line we have that value is H, and the ref, uh, level of the liquid that falls of the second liquid, that is liquid B, is called H1, and for the second liquid that is from point uh, A also, this is called H1. So the pressure head for the liquid A's will be H1 plus H, whereas for the pressure head for the second liquid is H1 and pressure head for the heavier liquid is H. So all the pressure heads are being made from the reference point XX. I have told in the previous classes also that reference head is taken as the point where the first and the heavier liquid will meet. So you can see the cursor of the mouse. This is the point where these two liquids are meeting each other. So this is taken as a reference line. So the pressure head from this XX to the B point, this heavier liquid, the pressure head of heavy liquid is taken as small h, and the pressure head of the second liquid is taken as H1 from that point. Because the pressure head of second liquid is H1, this is oil. Let us say this is oil, this is water, and this is mercury. So the pressure head of liquid A will be H1 plus H. So coming on to the definition of the YouTube differential manometer, this is being used to measure the pressure difference at the 2 points or in two different pipes. The differential manometer also consists of a YouTube containing the heavy liquid and whose ends are connected to the two different points here where the pressure is to be measured. So basically, the differential manometer is being used to measure the pressure difference of the 2 points, whether they're lying at the same level or whether they're lying at the different level. The first case we are taking when the 2 points of the two different liquids are lying at the same level, and also we have assumed that we are using the same liquid in both the cases. So I have assumed in the first case that when the both the liquids are at the same level and the same liquid is being used. So when the same liquid is being used, that is the pressure head will be same. So the pressure head in the left limb we will have HA plus H1 plus H into S1. So what is HA? HA is the pressure at point A plus, I have already told you this is the same liquid. So this is the specific gravity of the first liquid is S1. So this is H1 plus H. So that height from A to X will become H1 plus H into S1. This is a highlighted equation you can see. So this is the highlighted equation. HA plus H1 plus H into S1. So S1 is the specific gravity of the first liquid. So similarly, when you are calculating this pressure head in the right limb, you can see the highlighted equations on the screen. So pressure head in the right limb, you can see HB. This is HB, pressure at point B plus H1 into S1 and H into S. So why we have taken as a S1 here same, because we are assuming in the first case that we are assuming both the liquids are same at point A as well as on point B. So both the specific gravities will be same S1 and S1. So and also we have assumed that specific gravity of heavier liquid as S. So HB plus H1 S1 plus H into S. S is the specific gravity of mercury, you can say. So for the equilibrium position or equilibrium state of the YouTube differential manometer, we have pressure on the left limb will always be equal to the pressure on the right limb. So it will become HA plus H1 plus H. As you can see the highlighted equation, HA plus H1 plus H into S1 is equal to HB plus H1 S1 plus H into S. So we have to calculate the pressure difference between the 2 points. So it becomes equal to HA minus HB is equal to H1 S1 plus HS minus H1 plus H into S1. So we can have rearrange the equations. So we have uh, subtracted HB from H, so it becomes equal to HA minus HB is equal to. So that equation remains same. That is H1 plus into S1 plus HS minus we have subtracted that equation which is being added into the left side will be subtracted into the right hand side. That is minus H1 plus H into S1. So we will rearrange it, and these H1 S1 will cancel out, so it becomes equal to H will be common into S minus S1. So pressure head, or the difference of pressure head, in the case when the both the liquids are same at the say that is liquid is same at the both points. So HA minus HB is equal to H into S minus S1. So this is the first case, and for the second case you can see we are having the two different liquids at two different points. So you can see in the second figure also of the differential manometers, we are having two different liquids. That is, first liquid is having specific gravity S1, second is having the S2, and therefore, and also we have placed the 2 points at the different levels. A is at some higher height and B is having some lesser height as compared to point A. So we have connected that differential manometer to 2 points. We can assume that at first point, that is point A, we are having water, and at second point, point B, we are having oil. As soon as we have connected these 2 points, that YouTube differential manometers, so heavier liquid that is having a specific gravity, let us say as S, that is heavy liquid, a reference liquid as a mercury. As soon as you have connected that U2 differential manometer to the 2 points, the liquid falls in the left limb and rises in the right limb. And we have assumed the different pressure heads in the case of the when the two liquids are different at two different points. So we have to assume the two different heads. The different heads will be measured for the different types of liquids in the YouTube differential manometer. So X, that is a dark pink liquid, is a reference liquid, that is mercury in our case. The reference head is called the XX, or the reference line is called the XX datum head, and the pressure head for point A is called the H1, which is being made from point A to the second liquid, and the pressure head of the second liquid is H2, and pressure head of mercury is H. So you can see there are two pressure heads, two reference heads basically, but one is XX and second is ZZ. What is ZZ? Where the mercury is meeting the second liquid, that is B at point B, and this is where the cursor of the mouse is being shown. This is called the ZZ. This line is called the ZZ, and this is called XX, where the first and second liquid are meeting. So basically, in this YouTube differential manometer, we are using three different liquids. One is a reference liquid, and two are the liquids whose pressure difference is to be measured. And these two liquids are placed at the different positions from the. They are not placed at the same level. So as soon as they are placed at the different level, so you can see the various notations which are being used here. So again, calculating the pressure difference in the left limb as well as in the right limb. So the pressure head in the left limb will be same as that in the previous case. So it becomes equal to HA plus H1 plus H, that is this height. So we always have to reach from the point where the pressure is to be measured to the reference line. So HA plus H1 S1 plus H S1. So we'll common it out. The S1 will be common, so it becomes equal to, you can see the highlighted equation, HA plus H1 plus H into S1. So therefore, similarly, in the calculating the pressure head in the right limb, so we have HB into S2. So why we have not used S1 here? Because two different liquids are being used in point A and B, so there will be different specific gravity for each liquid. So it is HB into HB plus H2 into S2 plus H into S. S is the specific gravity of the reference liquid we have assumed, and S2 is the specific gravity of the oil we have assumed here. So similarly, for the equilibrium state, we have to equate the pressure head in the left limb as well as the right limb, and equating both the pressure heads, we get HA plus H1 plus H into S1 is equal to HB plus H2 into S2 plus HS. So similarly, we have calculated the pressure head in the case of the two different liquids which are placed at the two different heights. So this becomes equal to HA minus HB is equal to H into S minus S1 plus H2 S2 minus H1 S1. So you just need the concept how to calculate the pressure difference in the left limb and the right limb, and thereafter you have to just rearrange the equations and cancel out the common one, and then you can reach the solution of the pressure difference using the differential manometer. So next is the, we are having the inverted U-tube manometer. This is basically being used, this U-tube differential manometer, that is inverted shape, is being used whenever you want to measure the minute pressure difference, that is very less pressure difference, that is you want to measure at points A and B, then this inverted U-tube differential manometer is being used. So in the case of the inverted U-tube manometer, you can see a lighter liquid is being used whose two ends are being connected to the two different points. Here we don't use a lighter liquid as compared to the two liquids which are whose pressure difference is to be measured. Here we use a lighter liquid in the case of the inverted differential manometer as compared to the simple differential manometer. So calculating the pressure head, we are assuming the x-axis as a pressure head, as a reference head or the datum head, and measuring all the pressure heads from that datum head. So let us say H1 is the pressure head for point A from the reference point, and H is the pressure head for the lighter liquid, and H2 is the pressure head for the second liquid. So pressure head in the left limb will comes out to be HA minus. So here it becomes minus because it is in the inverted shape, HA minus H1 S1. So H1 S1 is basically the pressure head of the first liquid. That is S1 is the specific gravity of the first liquid, and H1 is the pressure head for the A point for the till the reference point, that is X line. So HA minus H1 S1. So similarly, in the case of the right limb, we have HB minus H2 into S2. So HB minus H2 into S2, that is the second liquid, minus H into S, that is the lighter liquid. The specific gravity of the lighter liquid different as from the liquid which is present at point B here. So equating these equations, we get HA minus HB is equal to H1 minus H1 S1 minus H2 S2 minus HS. So whereas in the case of the simple differential manometer, we have the plus sign, whereas in the case of the inverted U-tube differential manometer, we have the negative sign here. So it is HA minus HB is equal to H1 S1 minus H2 S2 minus HS. Coming again to the next type of the manometers, we have the differential manometers, we have the inverted micromanometers, and then we are having the I'm coming to the next topic. Just wait, we are having the mechanical gauges here. So mechanical gauges, as I earlier told in the previous classes also, that mechanical gauges are basically the devices which are being used to measure the pressure by balancing the fluid columns by using the springs or the dead weights. So four types of mechanical gauges we will study in our syllabus. First one is the Bourdon tube, second is the diaphragm, third is the vacuum or the dead weight. Okay, so Bourdon tube basically we have read in the previous lecture also. So let me show you the Bourdon tube here. I am sharing next screen with you. So this is the Bourdon tube. Is my screen is visible to you? Yeah, is my screen is visible to you?
No, sir. Yes,
Now,
sir. Now it's visible.
so
Yes.
this is the Bourdon tube pressure gauge. So this pressure gauge is basically being used to measure the very high pressures, and you can say this is the Bourdon tube in the C shape here. So this is the C-shaped Bourdon tube. As soon as the pressure signal or the compressed air or the point of where the pressure is to be measured, that pressure or the compressed air will enter into that Bourdon tube. It will expand, and as soon as it will expand, we have a transducer that is LVDT, linear variable differential transducer is being installed here, which is being used to calibrate that or to provide the reading on the scale. So this is also, you can see this is the Bourdon tube. So as soon as that pressure or the compressed air will enter into this Bourdon tube, it will expand. This C-shaped Bourdon tube, this is Bourdon tube. As soon as it will expand, we have a spur gear arrangement with the indicators also. And when the fluid enter into the tube under the pressure, that elliptical section of the Bourdon tube will expand and force the this spur gear on which this needle or the pointer is being attached to provide the reading as that of the fluid pressure. And this Bourdon tube is being calibrated in terms of the atmospheric pressure, and also this is being graduated with the help of some standard gauge. And this instrument is Bourdon tube is also capable of giving the direct reading and also can be used to measure the low pressure. So you can see as soon as that fluid pressure, fluid with the desired pressure or with the respective pressure enter into that Bourdon tube, that elliptical shape will expand, and as soon as it will expand, there is a movement in the gear. That gear is being, and on the gear we have a pointer which provides a reading on this reading scale. That pointer will provide the reading on the reading scale. But internally, this works, or this its mechanism works like this. You can see this is the internal figure of the Bourdon tube, and this is the outer image of the Bourdon tube, and this is how it works. Next is the diaphragm pressure gauge. In, in the case of the Bourdon tube, we have a C shape or the elliptical shape tube which expands as soon as the fluid enters into that Bourdon tube. Whereas in the case of the diaphragm, you can see here they are basically popular because they require very less space, and the motion they produce is sufficient for producing any electronic signal also. So as you can see, the BP is being measured with the help of the diaphragm in the manual, as the doctor uses that manual diaphragm to measure the blood pressure in the human beings. So that similar kinds of diaphragm is being used in the lower portion of the in the diaphragm pressure gauge, so that you can see that diaphragm is being replaced uh, from the Bourdon tube, as that in the case of the Bourdon tube gauge, that diaphragm is exposed to the fluid pressure, and the movement of that is transmitted by a similar arrangement as that was in the Bourdon tube. But here the pointer in turns moves on a graduated scale that indicates the pressure intensity, and also this is being used to measure the very low pressure difference, very low pressure amount with the help of the diaphragm, as in the case of the Bourdon tube. But the Bourdon tube is basically being used to measure the high value of the pressure, whereas the diaphragm can measure the low pressure intensities also. And the internal mechanism works as that in the case of the Bourdon tube also. But here, in the case of the diaphragm, we have replaced the Bourdon tube. Instead of Bourdon tube, we have installed the diaphragm in the case of the diaphragm pressure gauge. Last but not the least, we have dead weight pressure gauge. So this is the dead weight pressure gauge. You can see they are also called the willows also. So this is the most accurate pressure gauge, and it is generally used for the calibration of the other kinds of pressure gauges. So also this is being very sensitive as compared to the modern type gauge, and also used to measure the low pressure. You can see the figure of the this this is I'm showing the figure of the this is the figure of the deadweight pressure gauge. On one hand we have attached a pressure gauge, and other hand we have attached a dead weight. So that dead weight, you can see uh, below the dead weight we have one piston is being installed here, and that piston is being installed in the cylinder arrangement where the liquid is to be filled, whose pressure is to be measured, and on this end we installed a pressure gauge here. Here we have put the number of weights on the platform where the piston is being installed here and the liquid is being filled here. Here we installed a pressure gauge here, and as soon as the dead weight increases, it gives amount of the pressure on the pressure gauge. So that instance intensity of pressure is being measured with the formula using weight per unit area, that is weight placed on the piston, weight placed on the platforms to the cross sectional area of the piston. So I'll also show you the pressure gauge here. Just wait for 2-3 seconds. I'll show the other figure, another figure of the deadweight pressure gauge that you can understand easily also. So is my screen is visible to you of pressure gauge?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
No, sir,
yes
it's
or
a
no?
blank screen, sir. Sir, now it is. Yes.
So this is the pressure gauge you can see. So we have placed a number of weights on the platform. We have a piston here. We have an oil reservoir that will provide the desired amount of oil if there will be any decrease in the oil pressure. And this is the piston which is being installed in the piston cylinder arrangement here. So with the help of the screw pump or adjusting piston, we can increase the pressure of the fluid. And here we can have installed a pressure gauge on the left side of the portion of the deadweight pressure gauge. So also the diameter of that here is not shown in the figure here, but the diameter of that pressure where the piston and the other weights or the platforms are being installed, the diameter of that cylinder will be more as compared to the diameter on the left side of the portion. So the pressure is to be transmitted to the pressure gauge is to be calculated. The pointer of the pressure gauge shows the movement and takes up the steady position on the dial, and as soon as you have increased the weight on that platform, that piston uh, compresses that liquid and increases the pressure of the liquid, and as soon as the liquid compresses, its pressure increases, and as soon as its pressure increases, it will give the desired amount of the pressure, that is the requisite amount of pressure of the liquid. It is being shown on the pressure gauge. So this is how the deadweight pressure gauge works. There is no external source of power is being required to measure the pressure. So as soon as you are increasing the pressure by increasing the weight on the platform, you are increasing the pressure, and that increase in the pressure is being seen on the pressure gauge, which is being installed on the left side of the deadweight pressure gauge. So oil reservoir and the valves are being installed so that if there is any decrease in the oil, that can be fulfilled from the oil reservoir also, because if there is any leakage, then that leakage will be repaired, and as soon as that leakage will be sorted out, that mold oil will be filled from by opening that valve from the closed oil reservoir to the oil filled chamber. So this is how the dead weight pressure gauge works. Now, anybody having any doubt from whole chapter, you can ask me. This was very interesting chapter. We have around